What's going on, everybody? This is Alex for the MTG Homebrew Network YouTube channel, doing a little Tiny Leaders deck tech for you, coming back at you. It's been a while, but we have some hot, fresh deck techs ready for you. Today, we're going to be looking at Tifa Lockhart from the infamously powerful Final Fantasy set. If you're not familiar, she's a 1/2 for 2 who says whenever a land you control enters, double Tifa Lockhart's power, not toughness, until the end of the turn. And for some reason, she already has trample. So you'll hear this in the gameplay of Ryan and I that will be uploaded to the channel to complement this deck tech. But I do not deserve any credit for how good or bad this deck is. Well, it's good, spoiler, because of this creature. Tifa's busted. It really does not take a whole lot to swing into the double and triple digits with this creature, given the right setup. So yeah, let's get into it. We're playing a lot of classic ramp things, starting with Lotus Cobra, very small suite of creatures. Lotus Cobra is really good for incidental mana. This deck loves to pop off like turn 3, turn 4, and Lotus Cobra really helps you get that little bit of extra mana to play the extra land search or what have you, kind of with very limited lands. Courser of Krufix, Azusa, Lost But Seeking, and Wayward Swordtooth are all just essentially additional land enablers. Courser is probably the best of all of them. Azusa gets there faster, but Courser gives us the top of the library, which is super, super powerful. Wayward Swordtooth is also very good and has the advantage of eventually you're going to ascend if you're playing so much lands and stuff like that, and it becomes a 5/5 beater, which compared to Tifa is not a whole lot. But if you're kind of getting into the late game and struggling with Tifa getting removed, Swordtooth is a very good beater to have in the back. Gonna kind of jump around with what we're gonna look at next. Just additional land stuff first. We got really good low cost search spells like Caravan Vigil, which a lot of this stuff is gonna have like that morbid trigger in the back for if you're not getting the perfect gameplay and you really need to work around things getting removed and such like that. Edge of Autumn, I love this card. I think it's very underplayed for that cycling cost. Explore, very much a classic. Drawing a card, always good because we're playing tons of lands out of our hand. We need to be refilling it as we go. Enter the Unknown is another card I don't see played a lot, but I think it's pretty excellent for the low cost of a green. You get to have Tifa Explore, and you get the additional land trigger. Let's see. Summer Bloom, another one. If you just have a handful of lands, you need to drop them. Summer Bloom's great. You caught a glimpse of it, but New Frontier is a very spicy card that I found for this deck. For X and a green, each player searches his or her library for up to X basic land cards, put them into play tapped, then each player who searched shuffles. It really doesn't matter what you're giving your opponents with this spell. In the great words of Kyle Goodwin, Group Hug is not about giving everybody resources. It's about using the additional resources better than your opponents. And this is an absolute game ender of a card. If you go into a turn with like 4 or 5 mana, dump it all into New Frontiers, you're going to double Tifa into the double digits really quickly with that. Traverse the Uvenwald, not really ever using it to get a creature, although it's good late game. Usually it's just another 1 mana land search spell. Over the Edge is really good situational removal if you have a pesky artifact or enchantment. But then if you're doing fine, it also explores. Crop Rotation, very classic, very good. Glow Cap Lantern. I'll be honest, I have not gotten a game where this actually, I get to cast this, equip it, and everything. But again, more viewing the top of the library, seeing what's coming, but also just exploring more. Explore is a perfect mechanic for Tifa because you're either getting more lands to hand, which means more doubling triggers, or you're just putting 1/1 counters on it, which makes your doubles more effective as you're going. Got a couple enchantments. Exploration, more additional lands. Sylvan Library, the end of the day, we usually don't care if we're taking 4 life. If it puts, you know, another like 2 to 3 lands in our hands when we have those play additional land triggers already, then it's super awesome. Go back up to the top. So that's just playing extra lands, getting those doubling triggers. The other side of that, of this deck, is making Tifa bigger before you double. So this deck is very easy to pilot. The only complicated thing is getting, like, buffing Tifa and then getting your lands off, which is really not that complicated. But we have buffing things like our Explore triggers do that. We play fun things like Scale Up, 1 mana, and all of a sudden, instead of doubling 1, we're doubling 6 into 12, 24, 48. It gets really big really fast. Embiggen, one of my favorite cards in the deck in general, especially out of this unset. I thought it was really good that they had some black border uncards in Unfinity that you could actually play. Was it Unfinity? I can't remember. Ryan from downtown. It was Unfinity. I get those confused. Giant Growth, Classic, Titanic Growth, Untamed Might, all just getting Tifa as big as possible, dumping our lands, and getting her much, much bigger, much, much faster. Rancor, just a good inclusion in any green deck. And then we've got little removal. Should probably play more, but that's what a sideboard's for, and if you want to build a sideboard, that's all you. That ain't for me. But we have Bushwhack, so Tifa's super squishy, but if by any chance there's like a low toughness creature that is like a pesky blocker or something, or an indestructible creature or something that absorbs all the damage, that's really good, especially if you're casting it on like your Wayward Sawtooth, so even if it can't attack, it's still using that 5 power for you. And then our other piece of removal is Lignify. This is really interesting if you can play with it. It's really good for creatures with abilities that are hampering you down, and they still keep the creature in the blocker, but again, 4 toughness is not a lot, or really nothing to worry about when you're really churning with this deck and you're getting Tifa to swing in big. So really good for pesky, activated, or just triggered or static abilities. But if you were to sideboard anything, it would probably be spot removal, probably be protection for Tifa, like a Tameo safekeeping, like a heroic intervention, stuff like that. And if you are a longtime fan of this channel, you'll know that this is normally where I kind of wrap up the deck tech, like I say in the gameplay. I'm not too particular about lands. You can play whatever ones you want as long as you're getting your colors. This deck is an exception because you're going to want to try and double your landfall triggers as much as possible. There have been a lot of pseudo fetch abilities, meaning land enters, sack it, pay some cost to get another land in. So you're getting 2 landfall triggers for the cost of 1, usually very cheap, 1 life. And we've got some new ones here that I want to go through. So this whole cycle from New Capenna, they enter, you get one of the Triome lands to the battlefield tapped. Comes in taps, you can't use it. It's not like a Fabled Passage or something else, but you're getting a life, which is good, and it doubles that landfall trigger, and that's really all we care about. Play Dryad Arbor just for funds. Really nice to have a 1/1 in the back. Usually just going to tap it for mana because you want to be playing on curve and using all your mana as much as you can, as quick as you can. Classic stuff, Evolving Wilds, super good in this deck. Myriad Landscape, honestly, might be a little slow for this just because it enters tapped, but paying 2 for 2 landfall triggers is also very, very good. So probably stays in. Regular fetches like Mystery Rainforest, Fabled Passage, Prismatic Vista, more of these guys, and another Terramorphic Expanse. So good in this deck. Maybe you might not want to play it in like other multicolored decks or whatever, but here it's super, super effective. One of our best lands is Petrified Field. So if you're playing multiple lands a turn, you play a fetch, that's a double trigger. Activate it, that's another double trigger. You already have Petrified out in the field, sack it, put the fetch back in your hand, play it, 3rd double trigger, fetch, 4th double trigger. So Super, super efficient, returning lands to your hand. In the gameplay, I play a Reclaim. Whoopsie daisy, that's not on this list. But if you play like Return, permanent card return to the top, or permanent card return to your hand kind of spells, that's super, super effective with this deck, as long as you can keep playing those lands, keep doubling those landfall triggers with fetch-like abilities. This deck swings in for insane damage really early in the game. And that's pretty much it. You know, it's straightforward, very much swinging tall with Tifa. You've got a couple of supporting things in there, but she is the deck, essentially. I mean, look at that ability. It's, like I said, it's crazy. But if you have other cards that you think would be good, comment down below. If you want to yell at me for not playing a sideboard yet, that is fair. I accept it. But let us know what you think. Comment, subscribe, like, all the good stuff. And I'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for watching the video. If you're interested in supporting the channel, please consider checking out the tokens I make over on Etsy. There's over 100 tokens available, but if you don't see something you're looking for, don't hesitate to reach out in our Discord, as I do custom orders.